Thank you all for taking the time to join us today. Just want to start off and say how proud we are of our players. We had a great group this year, some familiar faces, some new faces, all very talented, but even better people. And that's what helped us have a historic season that we're all very proud of here. Want to also just thank Karl. His coaching staff did a great job this year coming in, having us play fun team basketball. And, obviously seen by some of the individual accolades by some of our players. So just want to thank everyone. Really proud of this group. And I'll pass it over to Karl.
Yeah, I would echo what Dan said. It was a great year for the Atlanta Dream, a historic season. Players just accomplished an amazing thing. I'm just very thankful for the efforts and attitude of the players to make this such a special season. I want to thank Dan for all the support. He guided me through this first year, me not knowing exactly how everything was going to play out. He's been a tremendous resource to help the team be successful. Thank the ownership group. Larry has been a phenomenal supporter of us and the rest of the ownership group. Uh, just, you get to this point and you wish you were still playing, but uh, you still have an appreciation for everything that was accomplished this year. And we're really excited about the future. I'm looking forward to, having some deep dives with Dan and others about how the Atlanta Dream can get better and take the next steps to win a championship here.
Awesome. We'll turn it over to questions starting with Lauren. Lauren, go ahead.
Hi, Dan. Lauren Williams from the AJC. I just wanted to ask maybe what surprised you the most about this run and how, well, not run, but how historic this season was, doubling the win total and what Karl was able to accomplish.
Yeah, I think going in every week or two throughout the stretch, we had to play with different lineups. And that's the nature of the WNBA. Injuries happen, things happen, but what our coaches and players were able to do, not knowing who was going in every night, but really playing together as a group, I thought was very, very impressive down the stretch.
Go ahead, Wilton.
Good morning, you all. My question is this. Obviously the Dream went from offensive from the bottom of the WNBA in offense and to one of the top teams under Smesko. How much credit do you give or how much credit do you assign to his coaching system versus roster construction, and how tightly will you prioritize maintaining continuity versus changing immediate upgrades?
Yeah, I think it was a total group effort. I think Karl and the coaching staff did an awesome job of getting this group together. I think our players really bought in. They were focused. And it takes everybody to have the type of year we had. So I think it was a total group effort. We really, really like this team. Proud of what we did. As always, you make tinkers in the off season. We'll wait to see kind of how that goes in the next few months, but really proud of this 2025 team.
Go ahead, Annie.
Hey guys, Annie Costable, Front Office Sports. Obviously a ton of uncertainty this off season regarding like both free agency and the expansion draft. Dan, how does that, or for both of you, how does that impact exit interviews? Like what are the conversations like when there's so much up in the air? And then second part to that is just when you have a season where there's newfound success, but then again you're facing this uncertainty of free agency. How confident are you that the players will be bought in to running it back and building off of what was established this year?
Yeah, I'll start there. Whether it was this year, last year, 4 years ago, we leave every year telling every player they're a member of the Dream. So, as of right now, we treat all of our players as if they're Atlanta Dream players. We make sure that anything they need, we're here for them. And then you just let the offseason play out and you deal with that when it comes. But overall, feel really good about where we are. All of our players love Atlanta. We did a really good job of putting this franchise on the map this year specifically. So we'll wait to see kind of how everything shakes out, but we feel good about our position right now.
And sorry, just one quick follow-up. When it comes to the expansion draft, How are you guys preparing for that? Just considering we don't know exactly how it's going to go yet.
Yeah, you prepare like you would any other year. Take a look at your roster, take a look at how the rules may be set up, and once you get final word, you go from there, and we'll strategize accordingly.
Thanks, guys.
We'll go back to Lauren. Lauren, go ahead.
Carl, this one is for you. I was wondering how helpful was it to sort of have the open communication and patience that Dan was able to sort of provide you in your first year that allowed you to sort of, do your best as far as coaching and being a leader of this team?
Well, I mean, Dan was fantastic to work with. He was somebody who gave me, a lot of room to do what we wanted to do, but at the same time gave great guidance because of his wisdom and experience going through these things. So a lot of things that maybe I didn't think of ahead of time or how the schedule would play out. We kind of talked about it in advance to get me better prepared for some of the situations that might arise. So, uh, we just have a great open dialogue with each other, and we all both have the same goal in mind all the time, which is how do we get the dream better? And we know the ultimate goal is to bring championships here, and how do we make the right moves to make the right positive steps in that direction. So um, I think for me, as much as I thought that, because I've been a fan of the W for so long and I knew all the players, uh, uh, until you're really in it and you see the day to day of it, there's still a lot to learn. And I thought Dan really helped accelerate that learning curve for me.
Go ahead, Ben.
Thanks, Liam. Dan, back when BG and Bree were introduced last winter, you talked about the importance of recruiting players, like recruiting your own players year over year. How did you assess BG's season, and what were the conversations like with her specifically as it relates to possibly coming back or just where she's at in the next stage of her career?
Yeah, BG was an integral part, both on the court and off the court, of the run we made this year. Just like with all of our players, can't really comment on the future, until we know more about what's happening with the CBA. But really just thrilled with the person BG was this year, the player BG was this year, and the team that we had.
Go ahead, Wilton.
Coach, this question is for you. Obviously, you were able to win 30 games in your first season. What would you say was the biggest thing that the biggest tactical changes that you installed that produced the jump for the team?
Well, I think we had really good players, and I think as a coaching staff, and I want to give a lot of credit to our coaching staff. I think we brought in the right people who really were committed to working together to help the players as best as possible. But it really is about recognizing the talents of the players and putting them in a situation where they can best utilize those talents. So, uh, if it's anything tactically, it's really just understanding how to get the best players into space or in their best situations where they can be the most productive, and letting them do what they're best at. And, I thought we did we were pretty good at that, but I think there's still even a lot of room for growth. I think the players feel comfortable in the system now. And I think going forward, uh, I think there's still room for improvement, which is our goal. Like, we were second in offense and defense this year, and we actually want to be first. And I definitely think that's possible going forward. And I think the advantage we have going forward now is I believe all the players on our roster think that's more than possible as well.
A quick follow-up. What would you say, and granted, there's always a difference between the regular season and the playoffs. What would you say that in the 3 playoff games that you had that you learned the most about yourself as a coach?
Well, I kind of knew that those games would be more physical, but and they definitely were. But these situations, I think if you watch for every team that was in the playoffs, man, one shot, one possession can turn the whole series. And, for us, we have the lead all game and give it up with 7 seconds to go is a tough pill to swallow. And hopefully it'll fuel all of us for a whole season, understanding that we had a team that was good enough to win the championship and, one possession ended our season. But in truth, I expected this throughout the playoffs for everybody. And if you look, like, Vegas was one shot away from being eliminated in the first round. Minnesota and Golden State, they were one shot away from going to an elimination game. And this is something you just have to be able to preach with your players, is like all these small details. It's like, how many times will this come? How important will it be? And it's like, you don't know, but you don't want to find out at the wrong time. And I just think that when I look at how we did things throughout the year, I'm really proud of the progress we made, but like, we're already thinking about the ways that we can take this to another level. And I wholeheartedly believe that we will be even much better a year from now than we were this year.
Go ahead, Chantel.
Hi, Dan. Chantel Powell, No Cap Space. Just to kind of follow up with Carl was saying, you put together a team that seemed to mesh really well, both on the court and off the court. What do you think is still needed to take the team to that next level?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is growth. We went through another playoff series this year. We saw ourselves get better in a bunch of the categories Carl mentioned. But you always take a look at your roster and see, hey, what can we do to take that next step? A lot of times that's internal growth. Sometimes that's, adding pieces, but we're doing everything we can this offseason to make sure that we're going next year with an even better team.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Thanks, Liam. As always, first for you, Dan. It's the third year you had Alicia Gray, part of this dream team, and seeing her have a career year and being a true all WNBA first team player and MVP candidate. Can you talk about the growth that you've seen for her, not only on the court, but as the leader of this team? And for you, Carl, what was the biggest lesson of the many lessons that you took, considering the detailed, smart coach that you already were coming into the W? So for you first, Dan.
Yeah, I think the best thing about Leash is every year she gets a little bit better, and that's a credit to her and how much work she puts in the off seasons. When you put that much work in, it just gives you that much more confidence, and you're able to really go out and play free. And I think Carl really, really leaned into Alicia this year, showed her some things she could do to, get even better. And overall, I think Leash just has been more aggressive year in and year out, and her numbers show by that. And just thrilled to have her a part of this organization.
And for me, it's just, we want all of our players to have the desire to get better every single year and to find something that they can improve upon to help our team and organization get better. But I think that goes through everybody through the organization, including myself. So like, there'll be a deep dive on one. I already take notes after every game with everything that after reviewing it, which I think I could have done better during the game. But there'll be, the coaches will get together and we'll review things. And the idea is to be the best coaches for our players that we can possibly be. And I don't think you can do that if you don't review yourself and figure out areas that, you think you could perform at a higher level. So the challenge for all of us is to become as great as we can possibly become. And that takes a lot of self-reflection. Obviously you have to kind of set your ego aside and kind of face the truths of where you fell short so that you can be better going forward. And, I'm the first person I always look at is myself, and then we go out from there.
Thanks, gentlemen.
And we'll finish up with Ernest. Ernest, go ahead.
First off, congratulations, Dan, on Executive of the Year. Congratulations on that. Coach, congratulations on an amazing season. Coach, my first question is for you, and I have a question for you too, Dan. Coach, what's the most special accomplishment and most memorable moment of the season now that you've had a chance to let it sink in?
Well, we had a lot of great moments this season and a lot of big wins. it's hard to put it in just one highlight, but if you're making me, I would say, Nas's game winner at Dallas was, kind of special. We had, multiple people out, and it was just a game where both teams were making basket, going back and forth, and to hit the game-winning three in the last seconds was kind of a special moment, and was really excited for Nas and the team when she did it.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. Dan, the follow-up is you mentioned the possibility of adding some pieces. How aggressive should fans expect the Dream to be during free agency or through trades?
Yeah, I think we've always been aggressive, whether that's through the draft, in trades, and free agency. Obviously, there's some things we got to wait on, but as Karl mentioned, we're all going to be doing everything we can, myself included, to make this team even more competitive year over year. So we'll always be aggressive, but we'll always make smart and disciplined decisions as well.